What's good, Lucky Lefty Podcast? Honora Boys definitely in the building. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure you drink. You're on mute, bro.
Responsibly. Had that little glare. Had to fix the glare.
You know what? At least you have glare. At least you have sunshine. Fridays are garbage day for me, bro. And I walk outside and it was snowing. And I said, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, it's snowing?
It was just 50 degrees 3 days ago.
What, like coming down snow or that flaky snow?
No. It's that, layer the top of the grass, be gone in a couple of days, but still, bro, it is. Only in the Midwest. Only in the Midwest, dude. Look it up, podcast, audio edibles each and every day. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We appreciate all the thumbs up. Smash it for us, man. Helps us greatly. Hit the notification bell every time we go live or post a video. You'll know. Part 2 of the Deuce Night exclusive interview on the reverse spin with myself and Left drops tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. Part 2, Part 1. The video dropped yesterday. Audio's been up for a week. Part 2 drops tomorrow. The memberships keep coming in. We gave you a teaser of what Three's company is going to be like. The podcast that'll be on Lucky Lefty Network when I got Ken Gibbs.
Man, they got the black Netflix, man.
I talked with Cam McDaniel for an hour. We had our R&D conversation yesterday that was all about research and development and the vision for the show and what he wants it to be like. So that's coming soon. I think we have a recruiting show that might be coming with all of the McDaniel brothers that have played college football. So that's in the works. His younger brother, show? I think TJ is the one that lives out there by you, Left.
Okay.
I think Cam and the youngest brother are in Texas, but I think the middle brother is out there in LA with his wife. By you. So I'll get a chance to talk to him when I come out there in a couple of weeks. So super excited, man. And then the OGs, Oscar McBride, their show is in development. We'll probably be launching the first episode next week. So Patreon.com.
Possibly Howard Griffith too.
Yes, sir. I got to wait for Howard to get back off his cruise. He went on a Valentine's Day cruise with the missus.
Oh, okay. Was it a 5-day cruise type of deal?
I don't know what it was. I know I texted him and he was like, bro.
MIA. I'm in the middle of the ocean.
I was shocked. You got a signal. I was like, oh, that's good. You got a good phone, my brother. So that's patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. Go sign up today. All that great content on a weekly basis. 5 shows, man. Once we get everything up and going in the next couple of weeks. The merchandise, everything that's coming from it. What's up, little Left? Lucky Lefty. That's Baby Left. My fault. That's Baby Left. That's Baby Left.
He just had to be on camera today. You said
both of the young Lefts are hams. They're both hams, but they're handsome dudes. Wait a minute, they're handsome dudes. They're handsome dudes with good hair. Look at him. He knows it too. He knows.
These characters, man.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, man. So today, as always, we start off the show with, if you sign up this week, or not just this week, if you sign up, you will receive the Malik ZAIRE cookbook. Yes, the Malik ZAIRE
That's right. Cookbook. We done dropped it. We done got it together.
It's ready to go. You will receive Malik ZAIRE's cookbook. Some pretty good recipes in there, Left, I have to admit.
We give them for free now. We share love for free. This is good for us.
So if you sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, you'll receive a copy of Malik ZAIRE's cookbook. Oh man. As always, what's smoking? What's Smoking is brought to you by Fashion Geek, fashiongeek.com, and AlonzoJackson.com. We run the city. Notre Dame going back to the Bronx, left. The final game
at the
of
Yankee Stadium.
Yes, they will face Army at Yankee Stadium, bro, for the Shamrock Series. So
that's a great place to play.
Yeah, the game in Mercedes-Benz is a neutral site game. We thought originally that might end up being the Shamrock Series game, but Army and Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium, is the Shamrock
what's
Series
the significance of the location though? Like, what is the Army tied to the Yankees or something?
I'm sure there's some historical background. Let me look. I'm pretty sure there's historical background. I'm pretty sure. That is November the 23rd. So we will either have a new president at that time.
You said
or Joe Biden would be in his second term.
That's right. That's right. But they already came out and said that his own house said he wasn't fit. So I don't know how you get a second term after that comes out.
Yeah. That's back-to-back games in NFL venues over the following 2 weeks. Georgia
Shout out
Tech.
Notre Dame. Yeah, we always gonna fit that NFL stadium feel in there and give you the full experience.
Yeah, I'm sorry, not Yankee Stadium. They go back to MetLife Stadium. It's gonna be at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah. I'm like, that's why I was like, it had to be something that we just wouldn't roll up in Yankee Stadium because I know we got some good relations though. Somebody is tied to it. You know how that go.
Yeah. So, and that will be the World Series should be over by then. No. I was right. It is in Yankee Stadium. I am sorry. I don't know. I thought I'm sitting here reading the actual press release and got confused.
Okay, so they said the first game ever was at Yankee Stadium.
It will be on NBC and Peacock.
Man, I wish we had some better teams matched up in these games, though.
I don't think it makes a difference. The Navy game will be in MetLife Stadium.
Like if we play Georgia at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that's a game. That's a game. That's a game you want to. That's a program-changing game. Yeah, we just playing a team in the heart of Atlanta. So, I mean, they gave Georgia a good run. They got some schemes they do that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that for me left. That was we knew it was coming. We kind of knew it was coming. Yankee Stadium is just kind of like the that's just a place you want to play, right? Because next year the Blackhawks have the Winter Classic game, and they're playing it in Wrigley Field. So that's probably going to be dope, like a hockey game at Wrigley Field, because they played it. I want to say, didn't they play I think the Blackhawks have played several preseason games in South Bend.
Yeah, at the Compton Ice Rink.
Yeah.
Playing in Wrigleyville would be nice because you have the setup. You got all the bars and all the stuff to do right there.
Oh, and it's totally different now. They've made it work, with the whole hotels across the street. Yeah.
Oh, it's like Eddie Street how it blew up, but it's cool because it's hockey though. There's one thing for baseball fans to go about. Hockey fans, like you said, they go hard. There's kegs everywhere. Just imagine what the bar is going to be like. So I think they planned it out great to do it over there because Arizona has spring training, but it's kind of spread out. But you get something in there with hockey in Wrigleyville. I think it's something that they'll probably redo for years to come.
You think so?
Yeah, I do want to see Notre Dame. Has Notre Dame played? Matter of fact, has Notre Dame played in every NFL stadium? Just about.
Oh yeah, they have played at Soldier Field twice.
Soldier Field. I don't think we played at the Eagles Stadium. We haven't played New Orleans yet.
No, I don't think. No, you haven't.
But damn near, we played in all the best stadiums. I played in Jacksonville Stadium before.
They played in the Legion. They played in the Cardinal Stadium out there.
Oh, they did play in the Oh, yeah. Yeah, Notre Dame's played in just about. Obviously, we played in Dallas 50,000 times.
Right.
We played in New York, MetLife.
Yeah.
I mean, other than like playing in like Cincinnati or Cleveland, we've been to all the major stadiums in college football.
Right. Yeah. I guess you're right, Lev.
Notre Dame, man. Hey.
So are you cool if they go back to the pinstripes? Let's see if I can bring them up. Here they go.
I like the
if they go because that's paying homage to the Yankees and
I thought they shout out. Is that Daniel Cage or is that Jonathan Bonner?
I think that's JB. Yeah.
Okay, man.
That's JB and Khalid. Yeah. Kelly.
Yeah, I mean those jerseys were straight. I thought the pinstripe was a cool addition. I always feel like we could do better every Shamrock series, so I don't want to be critical. I do like these though. I think they give a different feel, but man, I know we can swag some stuff up if we really want.
Could a football team ever wear a semi or full button-up jersey?
I wouldn't put it past them.
Like even if like the top was like a button-up look, to kind of give it like the baseball jersey look.
Yeah, if it was screen printed or something. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Is Under Armour's creativity only goes so far.
See, they need to hire us as consultants.
I think so because they
need to hire us as consultants.
It's like they want to go right to the edge, but not really, because it's Notre Dame. They're like Notre Dame don't want to just go. Because I do like how the Under Armour, how they do the All-American game, and they always have some cool colors and the jerseys, and then they get to us and they get old. Like I think in Cracker Barrel when I'm watching Notre Dame jerseys on Shamrock Day. So, man, if they would give us the Under Armour All-American feel to these Shamrock jerseys and not have to be, I mean, we're nothing wrong with tradition. But, man, we put that in the forefront of design. I'm like, dang, you can design different. You don't have to just design traditionally, so. Notre Dame is always going to be 5D chess level, and how they go about, putting the brand out there. So it's just one of those things.
I actually like it, Love. I like the pinstripes. I think it would be super dope if they just put like 2-3 buttons at the top.
Yeah, the pinstripe pants fire. Oh, that's fire. But then you get to a solid blue jersey. I mean, I'm like, if you're gonna go pinstripe, just go pinstripe the whole way. Because then, okay, you doing something. But if you go pinstripe, then you tap out and go just navy blue with a logo. Pinstripe jerseys. I'm like, you could have freaked it a little harder.
I'm interested in seeing what they come up with. You can't do the green in Yankee Stadium. You just can't. It has to be some type of blue. It has to be something along the lines of the blue with the pinstripes and the blue and white.
Unless we go all white. But I think we're the home team, so we wouldn't be all white.
Yeah. No, it'd be dope. No, it wouldn't. It would probably be controversial if Notre Dame rolled into Yankee Stadium with a tank with the Notre Dame decal on the side.
That'd be petty.
That'd be super petty.
That'd be petty.
We're
going to win this game, so it's like, you got to stay respectful while you win, which is crazy.
You do. Speaking of petty, man, CJ Stroud, my friend, you've been petty for about a week now.
Oh, Michael Parsons podcast. We was talking about
man, I mean the fact that he did get Jaime Hotcakes 40 though.
He gave him 40.
He gave him 40.
That's something to talk about.
Dude, I mean, you knew him.
Yes.
You knew him. I didn't. Let me tell you something, bro. This is the first time, like during media week, that I actually got a chance to like experience like his personality. I would have never thought that was CJ Stroud. I would have never thought that was CJ Stroud is kind of hood. It's kind of
talk that Yeah. Even Rancho Cucamonga, man.
See, that's what my wife is trying to take us, bro. I'm not trying to be way out there, dude.
Yeah, I mean, CJ has an edge to him. You know, obviously, you would think he's soft spoken, but you know, it matches his play. He's very competitive. He's serious about what he wants to do, and it's refreshing to hear a quarterback own it. You know, you don't hear the standard Matt Barkley, oh, you know, gee golly whiz. You know, you don't hear none of that. You get a real conversation, almost like barbershop talk. It's just coming from a quarterback. And it just shows you the evolving of the position. It's not just some upstanding, you know, sacred thing. It can be a position in which guys are more comfortable in. And with these podcasts coming out, it's it reveals more. I think even if Dan Marino had the social media like we have back then, you would see different sides of Dan Marino. I mean, he's a drunk for real. So I can only imagine if he was on podcasts and stuff back then. You know what I mean? Like, especially during the year they was going undefeated and all that.
Oh, you know, he was hitting Miami hard.
Oh yeah, and Troy Aikman no different. Troy Aikman is drunk on air.
If the Miami Hurricanes were lighting up Miami, you already know Dan Marino was man.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like it's just at this point in time we get to see the personality of players a lot more. But if we had social media then, it probably wouldn't even be different. You know, hell, if we got social media when Ben Roethlisberger was a young QB, he might not even be in the league now. So
that leads us right into, you know, Notre Dame has inside access each and every week during the season. Like, you know, they put out a 3-4 minute clip. Some of the players are mic'd up. You know, they catch them on the sideline. Most of the interaction is on the sideline. They really don't have a lot on the field. These are the things that I would suggest. I would suggest, especially at home games, let me know, everybody in the chat, let me know what you guys think. The next level of the inside access for Notre Dame football, mic up players on both sides on the field. Now, when you go on the road, that team might not allow you to mic up their players. They might be more accommodating when they come to Notre Dame Stadium.
They might be
to a lot of play, but I think for me, I would love to hear the banter between Notre Dame players and the other players. Like, I would like to know the personalities. Like, I want to know who,
games where it's at.
Because we're gonna get to the. I'm throwing a because we're gonna get to what we watched on Wednesday night, the Super Bowl mic'd up.
Yeah, the Super Bowl where
which is one of the best. It was one of the best mics.
It changes the entire way you view the
game.
Yes. Like it's like, you know how they try to do different camera angles. You know, they play with different camera angles during games. You're like, okay, I like the touchdown view or whatever. This is where football is going. And remember we talked about it when baseball. I thought the coolest thing in the world was when they was interviewing the baseball player in the game, and he was talking, and a pop fly or something happened. He's like, hold on. And when they made the play, as he's interviewing, I'm like, oh, that's where the game is going. Because they got to find a way, because everybody's looking at these TV deals saying, how can I get a piece? And everybody has a brand now. So you put a microphone in front of Micah Parsons on game day and just shoot it out as content.
Absolutely.
It might change. It's changing the game.
Let me give you 3 reasons why I would love to see this for Notre Dame. 3 reasons why. Personalities left.
Yep.
Personalities.
That's what first and foremost.
What do we complain about? Not knowing the personalities of kids, right?
That's right.
Having to depend on, 15-minute every other week, 15 minutes in front of the media, or somebody reporting something, right? Right. All we've ever heard about Blake Fisher.
Guys are too media trained.
Absolutely. You get a personality, dude. I can listen to Mike George Kittle up every game. Mike him up every game.
He talking stuff. He making jokes. Like,
he runs a route in the first half against Trent McDuffie. He doesn't get the ball. He's like, turns to Trent McDuffie, like, yo, that was a good route, wasn't it? Trent McDuffie's like, yeah, I got to give it to you. That was a good route.
Yeah, I mean,
then he's like, yo, by the way, you got a dope last name. I'm like, dude, I like stuff like that. That has absolutely everything. Doesn't have to be about football, dude. Give me something that's going to draw me in to the actual participant.
Right. That's right.
It lets me know who they are. That's fun for me.
Yeah, if we saw like a ant mic'd up and he just crosses somebody over and he just like, oh man, I got you on that one. I've been practicing. That'd be great. I mean, I think it would increase sponsorships.
Man.
I think it would open up doors for marketplace in different areas. Now you got guys sponsored, guy dropping a shout out Coca-Cola, stuff like that, endorsement. I think that the fan connection to sports will grow for football, where everybody's looking for how is it going to attract a younger audience. That's how it attracts the younger audience. You can put anything on. Just imagine if the Odell and Josh Norman conflict was a mic'd up thing.
It's crazy because Pat left. That's point number one. We don't even have to overtalk that. Point number two. Chris Jones. Let me tell you, bro. There was a moment in the second half where the Chiefs offense got going. And Chris Jones and the entire bench, you could tell, they looked up at the screen and said, oh, shoot, it's this time. It's this time. And I'm like, yo, what are they talking about? It's this time. And then they showed a picture, and I'm like, Patrick Mahomes does do that when he gets in the rhythm. Like he's like, it's almost like he's calling for the next play. Like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. He's like, I need it. We hot. Right. Give it to me.
That's kind of like, when Mike sticks out his tongue, like, okay. And I was like, the whole bench was like, uh-oh, it's this time. Like stuff like that, bro. It's like, yo, that is the game. That's why the NFL is king, bro. They do a fantastic job of marketing the game. They do a fantastic job of marketing the game. It's not needed. People will love the game regardless, but they do a fantastic job. What do you want them to do? They got Taylor Swift in the game. Do you really think they're not going to use Taylor Swift to market the game? They don't care what you feel about it. They're doing what they do. They are masters of marketing the game of the NFL globally. They're good at it. And they're going to use every opportunity to market the game. And I'm not mad. Notre Dame should do everything within their power to market Notre Dame football. Everything. Everything. And Chris Jones, bro. Chris Jones told this. I wrote this down in my notes. Chris Jones' conversation with Aaron Banks. Chris Jones told Aaron Banks, yeah, you got to worry about me. You don't look at him. Don't look at McKivitz. You got to worry about me all day. All day.
He told Aaron Banks that?
He told Aaron Banks, you got to worry about me all day. Don't look at him. I said, that's the type of talk I want to hear from a Notre Dame player. Yeah. So as pristine as people love the Notre Dame brand to be, I would love to hear one Notre Dame player talk ish like that during a game. Just one time. Just one time. I would love to hear it. It would make me feel better as a Notre Dame fan. Make me feel better. I wish we had a player that dominant, especially on the front four, that just flat out told the offensive line, you got to see me all day. I'm a problem all day, and let them know. Flat out. I'm glad we didn't have inside access back when Miami and Notre Dame were at the height. Like, I wish that might have been too much. Those games might have been too much. I don't know if that would have been a positive reflection of either school back in that time. But, yo, I don't mind it going to that level. And then third, and my final reason, the moments left. The moments. Can you imagine the Sam Hartman 4th down run against Duke with Sam Hartman mic'd up during the run, after the run, in the huddle before the run? Because they elevated it by actually including the coaches talking over the headset during those final moments. Can you imagine if the players and the jubilation in that moment in the end zone when Audric Estime scored? Can you imagine having that audio? Those moments, man, you get moments. You get moments. That markets, man. That markets. It sells Notre Dame. And as big as Notre Dame is, it still needs to be sold moving forward. It needs to be sold to the next generation. Like you said, Left. That's how you reach the younger TikTok generation. Mic'd up TikTok clips, things of that nature, to bring the younger generation in. I love it, Left. That's the only tweet for me that was inspired by the Super Bowl mic'd up. I wish Notre Dame would just go a little step further and actually have one player mic'd up on the field during the game. And heck, I wouldn't mind having to do another thing. Let me do this. For me, this was the best moment of watching them mic'd up as we get ready to transition over to some recruiting news and some other things left. When Dre Greenlaw got injured trying to run on the field, having Fred Warner walked up to get his immediate reaction, to hear him scream, "No!" He didn't hear anything. He just turned around and saw his boy on the ground and immediately was like, "No." Took his helmet off, threw it down. You don't get that if he's not mic'd up. You don't get the conversation with Bosa coming up to him as he's crying on the bench, in tears on the bench, and Bosa saying, "Man, we got to let it go for him. We got to snap out of it and let it go for him." That's a moment, man. Who wouldn't want to experience that? Who wouldn't want to hear that from their team? And after Bosa walks off and tells him you got to snap out of it, Fred Warner drops to his knees and prays and goes to his faith to be able to move forward in that game. Dude, that's a great moment, man. That's great. And they got it because they had Fred Warner mic'd up. Moments like that are moments you can catch, the good and the bad. I'm good catching it. I'm good catching both sides of it. I'm good catching a player. I'm good catching an Army player in Yankee Stadium making a big hit and talking to Jeremiah Love. And Jeremiah Love walking back to the huddle saying, "All right, okay." And then the Jeremiah Love 25-yard touchdown highlight comes right behind that in the production. Oh, that's a whole new level. Because the inside access, I think they've been doing it now for about, I would probably say it goes back to 2010. I want to say it was right at the beginning of the Kelly era. We started seeing those things on the Notre Dame page. Yeah. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. What do you guys think about it? Let us know. How are you feeling about the pinstripes back in the Bronx in November to face Army? Are you feeling those same uniforms from the last time they were in Yankee Stadium? And then how do you feel about inside access, taking it to the next level when it comes to Notre Dame games, having players mic'd up on the field, Notre Dame and opposing players at home? I think it would add a special layer for Notre Dame fans to be uncovered. I really do. I really do. Jake Piper, thank you for tapping in. Right there, what you said, Sean, exactly back it up. When it matters, lips only do so much if you're getting beat. Yeah, I mean, but that is, as a creator / editor, coming from that's my background. The more footage I get, the more audio that I get, the better product I can give you. I love working with more. You give me more B-roll, give me more audio, give me more sound, and the more confident I get about the product I can put forth. Anthony Solomon says no on the uniforms go with the green and white. They're not that just doesn't fit. You have to pay homage to Yankee Stadium. You have to, you're not gonna go with the green. I would go with the green away against Georgia Tech. If there's a game I'm gonna wear the green, it's gonna be Louisville at home in the revenge game or Georgia Tech on the road in Atlanta. You just don't fight against the vibe of Yankee Stadium, the pinstripes. You use that. You flow with that. You pay homage to that. They've done it before, so I pretty much think they're going to stay, even if they wouldn't do a green top in Yankee Stadium. They might do a different version, but I expect it to be in the navy blue range, in my opinion. I think they stay with that. The green against Georgia Tech, though, I definitely would rock with that. Left with Shanks transitioning. He'll be popping back on in a second. Lucky Lefty podcast. Oh, what did you guys think about the EA college football release? What were your thoughts on that? Did you like it? Did you like the early view of it? Are you excited to play it? Are you, we'll see. I know for myself, and I'm different. My favorite EA college game was the college basketball game. And I'll tell you why. Also, let me tell you something. The college, don't sleep. EA had a college baseball game for 2 years. The college baseball game was absolutely fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. EA did some things right around 2005 or 6. EA was in their bag. They had the college baseball, they had the college basketball going, and they had the college football simultaneously. Simultaneously, they had all three going. And that college baseball was pretty good. It was pretty good. So I haven't really rocked in or tapped into like Madden. I saw some people on social media saying like the game can look great, but it probably would play terrible. And they might be basing that on this year's Madden, which I haven't had an opportunity to really tap into. But I know in 05, 06, my man, hey, ladies and gentlemen, when they had football, basketball, and for me, that was right in the middle of the Illinois basketball run with Darren Williams, D. Brown, and Luther Head. So I was playing with that squad on the college basketball game. Then you had the Notre Dame squad from 05, 06. I was rocking with them. And then in baseball, I was playing with the Illinois baseball team from the University of Illinois and winning a Big Ten championships. And I actually won a national championship with them. I had this speedy leadoff hitter that was a lefty, dude. That dude was leading my team with like a batting average of like 450, like 60 stolen bases, 10 homers. Like, dude, he was amazing. I forget what his name was. They actually had the names were auto-generated. But that was, man, bring that back, EA. Bring that college baseball back, especially now in this era. college baseball is so much bigger now than what it was in 05, 06. If they dropped college baseball now, it would be huge. It would absolutely be huge. Yeah, like connected to the show. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Have your own draft class that you can just import. That'd be dope. The college basketball right now, with all the kids, see, it was so dope back then because kids were still staying 2 years. Like Darren Williams stayed 3 years, right? So yeah, man, I don't know, man. I just think college basketball right now will be a little bit more difficult with all of these kids being one and done. That I don't know. I don't know how much sense that would make. But college baseball and football, definitely a thumbs up for me. No, we'll see. Women's college basketball is not bigger than men's basketball. No, no, maybe you're just not around. Like University of Illinois is on game day on ESPN. That's huge up here in Chicago. They've been talking about it all week. Marquette and UConn play on Saturday. That's huge. Like we're coming up to like all the Big Ten, Pac-12 tournaments in like 2 weeks. Ah, man. Okay. I was about to say, I'm glad that you were just trolling. Man, no, not yet. Not yet. Women's game is definitely growing. It's definitely growing. But I don't think it's at that level yet. Oh, Anthony. Anthony Solomon said he hasn't played a video game since Atari in the mid 80s. Anthony, man, I actually in my pool room downstairs, I actually have a sit down Miss Pac-Man, a stand-up Galaga, and a stand-up Centipede. So I'm a gamer. I do. Dwayne Stone says I used to play with Maryland on that college hoops game. Dwayne, Maryland had a squad. Maryland had a nice squad on that game. Cajun Irish says NCAA baseball was awesome. Yes, it was. It was a fantastic game. It really was. Coach Vic said, I thought Illinois was supposed to be garbage this year. I never said they were going to be garbage. And I don't judge Illinois by the regular season. I don't. Illinois basketball for me, like the rest of the Big Ten, is like Coach Boeheim said. All they do is beat each other up, and then by the Sweet 16, the entire conference is out of the tournament. And that's pretty much true. That's pretty much truth. The only successful coaches in the tournament, which is funny, which is I try to tell why, Illinois fans try to spit on Juwan Howard and make fun of him. And I'm like, Juwan Howard has a better postseason record and is shown to be a better coach in bigger games than Brad Underwood. You can tell me about all these regular season awards and accomplishments of Brad Underwood. Let me know when Brad Underwood makes it to a Sweet 16 with a top 4 seed. Once again, he's going to have a team. He had 2 top 4 seeds that couldn't make it past the first weekend. Sorry, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Just not. So that's why I am with Illinois basketball and Brad Underwood at this point. I don't care about the regular season. I don't care if they win the Big Ten. I don't care if they catch Purdue. I don't care if they're in second. I don't care if they win the Big Ten tournament. All of that's been done. Every Illinois coach. Yes, Lon Kruger won a Big Ten tournament. Bruce Weber won a Big Ten tournament. Yeah, just about John Gross might be the only failed Illinois basketball coach. Every other coach has had success regular season. So, and John Gross made a tournament with Illinois. So, man, It's kind of the way we feel about Notre Dame football going into this season, right? Hey, put up or shut up. I don't know. Al, Aquino, great question. What do you guys think? Who you starting at running back for Notre Dame in the new game coming out? What do you guys think? Who you start? Who you start? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna watch spring practice. I'm gonna watch spring practice starting on the 7th of March, and I'll make my decision like right before the blue and gold game. I'll make my decision then. You know, sentiment goes to Jadarian, knowing what he went through to come back. Just the joystick that Jeremiah Love can be on a game with his agility and ability to evade tacklers in open space that he showed at the Sun Bowl. Hey, I might just fall in love with Keidron Young and say, yo, let me start the freshman. I'll see. I probably would lean Jeremiah Love right now, though. Shout out. Now, it was amazing. Another thing that was hot. Shout out to Jordan Faison scoring the first goal for the Fighting Irish lacrosse team. That was absolutely fantastic. I think he ended up having 3 goals in that game. If I'm not mistaken, fans. Yo, that's fantastic, man. That's fantastic. And for Notre Dame to have that, put it out on social media, yo, that's what I'm talking about, man. Market. That market's lacrosse. That market's the back-to-back run. That market's football. That's fantastic, man. Every aspect that you can market and sell. Every aspect of Notre Dame that you can market and sell, do it. Do it, man. Lucky Lefty Podcast. When we come back, we'll get into some SP plus and Notre Dame at 5 in the ESPN top 25 going into the season. We'll talk about it next, right here. Lucky Lefty Podcast.
What's up, family? The merch shop is finally here. Lucky Lefty Network merch shop. We got it all. From the shirts to the hoodies to the hats to the nitty gritties. Come here right now. Shop with us. Come get the swag because you know, if anything else, we spin it different. You see the gritty. You see how we get down. It's elite.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. Go right there. Our merch on our YouTube page. Our shop is right there underneath the videos. Get with us, man. Spin it different. It's a great line. This new line we're going to drop around the blue and gold game. I am super excited about. I'm just hoping we can get the okay from a certain individual for their image and likeness. If we get the go ahead for this image and likeness, man, I think this t-shirt, this hoodie is really going to pop. I think it's really going to pop. Lucky Lefty Podcast, man. Super excited for what's coming up. And patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, part 2, the Deuce Knight interview exclusively with Lucky Lefty Reverse Spin, myself, Malik Zaire, 2025 Notre Dame quarterback commit Deuce Knight, part 2. Part 1, audio and video is already up over at patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. Part 2 drops tomorrow, audio, and then the video drops the middle of the week, next week. Man, it was a great interview with the young man. Flat out great interview. He has full confidence. Full confidence. I have a story up over at irishbreakdown.com right now. Deuce Knight having full confidence, talking about his trip that he took to LSU on a visit, the conversation he had with Mike Denbrock there, and just hearing Mike Denbrock talk football and hearing Mike Denbrock break down certain things and talking to the receivers. You know, he has full confidence in Mike Brown, Mike Denbrock, and the rest of the offensive staff, Chad Bowden and Marcus Freeman, and their idea of what they need to do with the 25 offensive and wide receiver recruiting. A lot of people are worried about the wide receiver recruiting. And Deuce Knight is fully confident because he's a huge part of that. He's confident in all of the new offers. He likes what he sees. And he's like, yo, because a lot of people are trying to make it seem like Notre Dame, like he just had a camp last week. He was throwing to Jerome Bettis Jr. And he talked about that, the relationship he started to build with Elijah Burris and Jerome Bettis Jr. at the junior day in January. And he's like, yo, I'm good. Like, those are dogs. He's like, I love them. Then he goes to camp and balls out with Jerome Bettis Jr. a couple of weeks ago. So Deuce Knight is locked in. Like, these people trying to make it seem like wide receiver recruiting is going to impact Deuce Knight. Man, Deuce Knight is locked in. And he said so. So until anything changes, and if I'm not mistaken, he told us he's going to get up to, he plans to be at 2 practices. He's going to be at 2 of the spring practices based upon the information that he told us. So I'm super excited. Super excited. What video, Byron, what video are you talking about? The merch video, or was it another video that we show? Jason Smith, that's a good point. Yeah, and that's a direct quote. He knows he's in the fold with ND when the coaches call him and say, hey, we need some wide receivers, and have him start to help pull guys in. Owen committed that told me they're locked in together. Well, he told us, you know, we talked to him. He was like, dude, I already know. I already know what he's going to do. And people, here's the funny thing. I put that intel on the board the day before, and people got upset, feeling like I was stealing his shine, stealing his moment, because on a paid message board, I released intel that Deuce Knight said, I already know what he's going to do. I was like, man, once again, I'm not about to apologize for doing my job. It wasn't like I put it out on Twitter X. I put it on a paid message board. Behind the scenes intel that no one else has from Deuce Knight. So, yeah, I agree. I think that's what all message boards are for, right? Tom Lloyd dropped some news that kind of opened my eyes late last night when I guess he talked to James Simon, the running back out of Louisiana. Notre Dame already has 2 running backs in the 25 class, and he's having conversations with James Simon. With James Simon is like throwing flowers at Dylan McCullough and talking like, yo, he's building a relationship with Dylan McCullough. All signs point to James Simon going to LSU. Like, I haven't heard anybody else in recruiting circles say anything other than James Simon is going to LSU. But yet still, yo, here's a reputable source, you know, in the Notre Dame pipeline, you know, releasing quotes where James Simon is talking about the love he has for Dylan McCullough. So, man, you got to love it. You got to love it. Lucky Lucky podcast. So, let's get into it. Notre Dame is 5th. They moved up 7 spots from the 12th spot to number 5 based upon the topsy-turvy offseason. Coaches going everywhere, NFL from college, leaving from being a head coach like Chip Kelly, going to be an OC at Ohio State. It's crazy. Through all of this, ESPN has allowed or has placed Notre Dame in the 5th spot in their way too early ESPN college football poll. And I was asked an interesting question the other day. I was asked, like, man, do you think this is fair? And I'm like, yeah. Now, it's interesting because Bill Connolly does a great job with analytics, and the analytics are starting to favor Notre Dame. The analytics are starting to favor Notre Dame. We had Ken Gibbs on with us last night, who pretty much predicted that Riley Leonard will be in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. He fully believes that. He said that Riley Leonard was a Ferrari amongst Volvos. in the ACC and at Duke University. And he feels like, yo, being around other premium, because I told him we don't do well. Marcus Freeman has a Ferrari in South Bend, but we're more dude. I know I made this observation. There are so many Jeeps, Jeep Wranglers, dude, there's so many Jeeps. People in South Bend love Jeeps. I swear, every time I go to South Bend, I see a multitude of Jeeps flying around the streets. And I understand why. Because it fits. It really fits South Bend. And so I'm like, yo, if you're going to do a luxury, you're going to call Riley Leonard a luxury car in South Bend, he would have to be maybe a Lamborghini truck. Left said a G-Wagon, but we think there needs to be an elevation of some type of truck. He has to be some type of luxury truck. So that's the LL question of the day. If Riley Leonard was going to be a luxury truck to represent his time at South Bend, what luxury truck do you think he should be? What luxury truck do you think Riley Leonard should be? I got him as a Lamborghini truck. Because I still have to keep it stylish. If he was a Lamborghini down in Durham, I'm going to let him stay in the Lamborghini family. Just upgrade to a truck. I already see 2 Trackhawks in the chat. All right, okay. I'm feeling that. But with that being said, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how things evolve with this team. How do you guys feel? Do you feel like, are you comfortable with, because the Notre Dame fan base has gotten to the point where I feel like the Notre Dame fan base feels like they're the underdog. It's us against the world. Everybody hates us. So I think a lot of fans might be worried about whether or not Notre Dame can handle this type of off-season, I guess, love from the national media, expectations from the national media heading into Marcus Freeman's 3rd season. And that's understandable. I can feel that. However, in this instance, I think the culture is right. I think the 3rd season of Marcus Freeman is going to be a solidifying of the culture he's been trying to establish since he became the head coach. I think Marcus Freeman, I've said this before, finally has the coaching staff that he wants. The analysts and the support staff have increased with some very bright people, some very experienced people as well, right? The Bivens hire, the Trent Miles hire. Not just bringing in people. No, you're bringing in people that know what they're doing, very experienced, that can definitely add things to the program in a lot of different areas, right? I think Notre Dame is showing that they're moving forward from a media standpoint to sell the program. I'm with it. I'm absolutely with it. But here's the thing. If you go to the SP, right, Bill Connolly does this. Now, remember, Notre Dame was 74th in his returning production report, returning 61% on defense, 60% offensively. Now, the areas he uses for the SP Plus are recent recruiting, returning production, recent history, and also transfer portal. That's how he comes up with this SP Plus. Now, remember, returning production, and this is something that I said when we talked about returning production being ranked 74. It's ranked 74, but you have to understand that Notre Dame has very talented young players that didn't give production last year, but can match or produce even greater in certain areas than the guys that left. I think the linebacking core is going to have greater production than Maris Leofau and J.D. Bertrand. More tackles for loss, more sacks, more big plays, more interceptions from that group. That's how I see it. More impact play. That's how I see it. That's going to play well from an analytics standpoint. Might tackles and all of that, we'll let that play out, right? But I really think the linebackers are going to be younger, but they're going to make, I think Jalen Sneed is going to have Jalen Sneed probably gives you 6 sacks, double-digit tackles for loss, maybe an interception or 2. Like, I'm expecting him to take that next step. And you didn't have anybody in that linebacker core that had that ability to be able to make impact plays in the run game, rushing the passer off the edge, intercepting the ball, and drop coverage. The athleticism that Jalen Sneed has, I think you get that opportunity with him. And I think Al Golden is going to use him in a variety of ways and move him around. He becomes a chess piece. I don't know if Notre Dame had a chess piece at the linebacker position. I just don't. I think they do now, right? Jaden Osbury is another kid that can definitely play behind the line of scrimmage far more often than the linebackers that we're losing, right? You lose Blake Fisher, you lose Joe Alt. No one is going to play at the level of Joe Alt. Charles Jagusah has to change. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, we knew Joe Alt was going to be pretty good by the end of his freshman year. I feel good after the Sun Bowl. I feel good about what I heard during the practices leading up to the Sun Bowl about a kid that didn't play a snap at tackle. The majority of his season was played at guard. Got the opportunity to be part of the competition for the Sun Bowl and was the best tackle. And it wasn't even close, to the point that the guy that it was the incumbent left tackle going into the practices, they just moved him to right tackle. They didn't even keep, they were like, yo, Bo, you go battle Emil over at right tackle. Tosh. Like, go battle him. This is Charles' job moving forward. How can you not feel good about that? I feel the same way. And I said this, I believe, on one of the on our RTCF show. I believe by the time we get to November, the Notre Dame offensive line, and this is on Joe Rudolph, the Notre Dame offensive line needs to be dangerous. They should be vulnerable in College Station game 1. They should be vulnerable. Oh, that might be the first big game for 2 or 3 guys in that unit. Both tackles might be walking into a hostile environment for the first time in SEC country. That's, I don't expect a perfect game. I don't need them to have a perfect game. Don't need them to have a perfect game. Ashton Craig, he came in, late third, fourth quarter against Clemson. This is his, man, that's for him. It's a big moment. It's a big moment. But I expect them to gain steam because they're talented. And see, this is the pressure that's on Joe Rudolph. Okay. There's no problem with the clay. No problem. Put them on the potter's wheel. And throughout the season, you form this offensive line into what they're going to be. Right? They're still going, in my opinion, when the season starts, they're still going to be on the potter's wheel and be an unfinished product. But by the time November hits, they need to be dangerous as an offensive line because they're far too talented and they're far too deep. Far too talented and far too deep. Especially on the interior. Anyone that's not getting the job done needs to have a short leash, whether it's in the spring or the fall. Competition should be an all-time high. for both guard positions, in my opinion. I'm comfortable with Ashton Craig at center. Whoever wins that battle at right tackle, Herbie Lambert will come in the fall. Taj, Emil Wagner, whoever wins that, that's going to be a nice competition. Whoever wins should be ready. Charles Jagusah, you're the dude. You're the next great left tackle. Get it done. Very interesting in seeing what his body looks like. He's big, but I want to see the muscle tone. I want to see him grow and transform from that big kid out of high school into like, yo, okay, this is like, he's starting to look like a grown man. He's starting to look like a Trent Williams now. He already has the frame for it, but I want to see that transformation start. Right? Because it's going to improve his play. He already has great feet. He already, I don't know, I'll stop short of great. He already has really great feet, really good feet, in my opinion. Really good feet. So we'll see. We'll see. Lucky Lefty Podcast. So in the S&P, I'm going to give you the top 10. I already told you. Return to production, 74th, right? That makes you say, I don't know. They're an outlier because you probably want to be in the top 20 to feel good about taking the next step from the previous season, right? Like the Florida State did this year because their numbers added up in the all season leading into the 23 season. But you feel good because of the transfers coming in, and you feel good because of the talent, the unproven talent. And you feel good that they're going to be able to produce, like I said, at the same level or greater level than the guys that are leaving. They're ranked 5th. They jumped to 5th in the early poll on ESPN. Now for the SP Plus that Bill Connelly does as well. Number 1 is Georgia. Number 2 is Ohio State. Number 3 is Oregon. Number 4 is Texas. That's not shocking anybody, right? However, Michigan holds at 5. Michigan holds at 5. I'm very shocked by that. Very shocked by that. Their offensive SP Plus is at 32.9, which is 32nd. Their defense, I keep telling people, that's the one thing to know. That defense, I don't care what coach is left. The talent on the Michigan defense, especially in the front 7, is elite. They still have multiple first-round picks in that front 7. The transfer from Coastal Carolina, who wasn't even a starter, the Stewart kid, made the biggest play on 4th and goal against Alabama. And he wasn't even a starter. That was the depth. Now he takes a step up. He'll be on the field more. I believe in that Michigan defense still, even with Jim Harbaugh leaving. And then their special teams. Special teams, they're number 7 in the nation. So this is a combination of offense, defense, and special teams to get the SP Plus. Alabama is at 6. Interesting. Very interesting. Not so good with the offensive SP Plus. Defensive SP Plus, they lost a lot, but they're still pretty good at 4. Special teams, they just lost the greatest place kicker and punter, the right kid, and then punter left. So they have to replace them. I understand why the Alabama special teams grade isn't as good. But no, I read that wrong. I'm sorry. I know they lost Reichert, but they still have them in 2nd place, special team. All right. Penn State comes in 7th at 25.6. Offensively, 42.3. Defensively, 15.7. That ranks 8th. And their special teams, Penn State is 28th. It's 28th. Let me say that again. Penn State, 36.1. That ranked 18th offensively. I'm sorry. I keep switching Alabama and Penn State numbers for some reason. Defensive SP, 10.6 for Penn State, ranks 4th. So the defense is 4th. The offense, I can understand Bill Connelly not trusting it because of the loss of certain. I think they lost both tackles, offensive tackles, and the quarterback, Drew Aller, hasn't proven himself. and then they're 28th in special teams. The Fighting Ole Miss comes in at 8th at 25.2. Their strength seems to be their offense, which ranks 6th at 43.1 SP plus. And then their special teams, not so good. 26, defense 16. The Fighting Irish and Notre Dame. This is why analytics are favoring, regardless of what you say about returning production, the talent and the recent history and the analytics of it all favors Notre Dame and favors Notre Dame making the playoffs, having a really good season, whatever the plus minus is or the over under is for wins, take the over. Especially if Vegas is giving you 9.5, 8.5, like they've been doing lately. Take the over immediately if you're betting. Notre Dame is 9th at 24.1. Offensive XP plus 39.8, which is 10th. Defensive SP plus 15.7, which is 9th. I expected them to be a little bit higher, but that's still good. Even with the transfer of Jeter, this is something that I'm very interested in digging in on. And this is probably why they went and got Jaden Harrison from Marshall. SP plus, special teams, 0.2, which is 53rd. Now, I do think with all great teams, special teams is a really important part of the game. We know that. We all know that. They expect top 10 production. The analytics say offensively and defensively, Notre Dame is expected to be a top 10 team production-wise. Live in that. Rest in that, Notre Dame fans. Live in that. When was the last time you had a Notre Dame team that gave you top 10 units on both sides of the ball? Ladies and gentlemen, if Notre Dame can give you and give us top 10 performance statistically, analytically, throughout this season, man, there's some great things that are going to happen. Great things. The early analytics say this is what to expect, or this is what we should expect from Notre Dame. That's great. The only issue, special teams being 53rd. New place kicker, the recent history of place kicking at Notre Dame. The recent history of lack of explosive plays, run game, right? Punt game. We had the one big punt return this year against Wake Forest. Maybe a couple of other good punt returns. But other than that, I would say over the last 4 or 5 years, special teams, we talk about it all the time, Notre Dame fans. Yo, we started to call Notre Dame fair catch you for a long time, especially in the punt game. That's all you saw, season after season. Wave your hands in the air. Throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care, right? That was Notre Dame returners. So Notre Dame special teams, and look, watch it week 1. Marty Biaggi bears watching, ladies and gentlemen. He bears watching, not because I've heard anything or anything like that. No, he bears watching because the analytics say the trouble area for Notre Dame could be special teams, because the analytics say that the offense is top 10 and the defense is top 10. Special teams, because special teams lose us some games. Because special teams lost the 49ers the Super Bowl. If we're going to be totally objective and honest, special teams cost the 49ers the Super Bowl. The muff punt, the mixed extra point. Ball game. Ball game, ladies and gentlemen. And you don't want the season to be derailed Wouldn't that be awful to get a top 10 performance offensively and defensively from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, get to the playoffs, get to a playoff game, get to the quarterfinals, and you lose the game because of special teams? That's awful. That's awful. That's awful. And that's what jumped out to me. And that's what I wanted to talk about today with you guys. Feel really good going into this spring, right? Because I know there are questions. We got a question the other day. Someone was like, are you worried about the depth in the defensive line? Heck no. Heck no. Brendan Vernon, Devin Houston, Donovan Hines, Don Sibiliano Jr., Armel Mukam, Jason Onye, Riley Mills, Howard Cross. Heck no. The last thing I'm worried about is the interior. The last thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about the pass rush on the outside. Is Josh Burnham going to take that step forward? Somebody needs to become that double-digit sack guy. Somebody. That's that next level. That's the next level defensively, along with stopping the run, which I said, I think linebacker production, more tackles for losses, things of that nature, more big plays, more interceptions from that group. Man, because you get solid production, great defense, but now you start creating more big plays, more game-turning plays, right? That's changed the momentum and get the ball back to a very explosive offense, according to the analytics and Bill Connolly that Notre Dame is going to have. It bodes well. It really does. It bodes well for the Fighting Irish. It really does. So how do you guys feel going into spring practice? Are you optimistic? Are you taking the wait-and-see approach? Or do you believe in Notre Dame being a top 10 offensive team in the nation, as well as a top 10 defensive team? Do you believe in the early analytics that favor Notre Dame having a tremendous season in 2024? Let me know how you think and how you feel. Yes, I think, once again, we talk about Marcus Freeman and this staff identifying the issues. Mitch Jeter, nice pickup. Very nice pickup. Might not have as strong as a leg. His leg might not be as strong, but he's far more accurate, has been far more accurate in his career. Excited for him coming as a place kicker, right? I would like to see the punting game definitely on the net average go up 2 to 3 yards if they can. 2 to 3 yards. I would like to see that if they can increase that as a unit. I would like to see that from Marty Biagi's guys. And then on top of that, Jaden Harrison and just what he brings, his speed, his abilities. I truly think he can pop a couple. Right? Jadarian Price popped one. I think he can pop a couple. I think he can. I truly think he can. But I do agree with Bill Connolly's assessment. Taking a step back, special teams is a worry for me. It is. It is. But I do agree with what they have, man. There's no reason why Notre Dame can't be top 10 offensively and defensively in the nation. Truman Dumel, thank you for the super chat. Talk about how underrated Elijah Burris is and what a steal he and Urlacher are. I don't feel, I'll be honest, I don't feel the same way about Kennedy Urlacher that I feel about Elijah Burris. I don't. I think Elijah Burris, two totally different positions, but I'm more impressed with his high school film, and he still has a year to go, than I ever was with Kennedy Urlacher. But I think Kennedy Urlacher is at a position in Notre Dame. Well, I mean, Chris O'Leary, for whatever you want to say recruiting-wise, did a fantastic job of developing and coaching the position, the safety position. So I feel really good with the culture that Kennedy Urlacher is stepping into. All right? Because DJ Brown wasn't incredibly athletic or fast, but he became a really solid player because he knew the position. He was very smart. He was trustworthy, and he was a great communicator. If you're going to play safety and linebacker for Al Golden, you have to be able to communicate. 10 minutes in practice. Al Golden is not, he's not standing with the defensive line. He's not standing next to the linebackers. Al Golden is 5 yards behind the safeties, talking to the two safeties the majority of the time when they go live. Constantly saying, communicate, 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 communicate. It's that important. So Kennedy Urlacher is going to have to, get that part of his game down, be able to communicate. Drake Bowen, he said it. Al Golden said it. The only thing that kept Drake Bowen back is his ability to know the offense and properly communicate it. And once he got that, and he had to deal with an early injury, once he got back from the injury, and Al Golden said, I trust him, you start to see more of Drake Bowen. And he's that guy that is trustworthy on the interior. So that you need that in Al Golden's defense. You need that. So I'm just looking forward to seeing those guys in the spring. Because I think the numbers bear it out in the early analytics that Notre Dame has a pretty talented team. They do. They really do. But I'm more bullish on Elijah Burris than I am on Kennedy Urlacher as far as being, underrated and a steal. I absolutely think Elijah Burris is going to be a steal in this class because if I had to predict, you have the kid from IMG, Raiden Vines Bright, coming up for a visit. Devin Williams can play wide receiver or nickel, safety, cornerback, whatever you want him to play. He's just a playmaker. He's coming up for a visit. Notre Dame, I keep telling people, man, there was some panic there for a while. Notre Dame could pull in some, if I'm not mistaken, we'll be on the recruiting show in a few minutes with Ryan Roberts. We got some big news about spring visits coming up. So as soon as we're done here, get over to that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that Lucky Lefty podcast. Great show today. Thank you guys for tapping in. Patreon.com, Lucky Lefty Network /Lucky Lefty Network. Go over there. Deuce Night Part 2 interview drops tomorrow, 9 a.m. You know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction. Pettiest story of the day brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. Man, I had to put, somebody already put in the chat, but come on, man. What? Carmelo Anthony, he has a podcast. I actually love his new podcast with that cat Mero. It's pretty dope. And they're talking about George Karl. And Merrill's asking him questions. And Carmelo's just answering the questions. And the story's kind of old. We've heard it. Like, George Karl's the first. Melo's like 20 years old. Coming off a great rookie campaign. Taking the Nuggets to the playoffs. George Karl comes in first workout. And he's like, yeah, I think you're kind of overrated. And I think your role is going to be more like a Detlef Schrempf. Ladies and gentlemen, Detlef Schrempf was like the fourth option for the Seattle Supersonics behind Gary Payton, Hersey Hawkins, and Shawn Kemp. You just told Carmelo Anthony, who without question at that time was the best player on your team, that he was the fourth option. And that's the vision you have for him. I don't care how many times I hear this story. It's absolutely ridiculous. George Karl is an absolute idiot. And he tried to play mind games And it backfired on him. It backfired on him. So, yeah, George Karl, you will forever be on the petty train with that. Now, you know, George Karl then sees the clip, tweets out the clip on Twitter X, and it's like, yo, I wish you were as efficient as Detlef Shrimp. You weren't as good as Detlef Shrimp. Man, Cap, what? Shut up. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking? Then this dude is talking crazy, like, man, 20-year-old stories. Can we move on? No, you don't get to decide with Carmelo how he feels. If Carmelo Anthony still can't stand you, he can't stand you. If he wants to talk about it on his show and his platform, he can. Get your own platform. But you can't. Because even when you went to the studio, you weren't good. You were an okay player at North Carolina. You were a good coach in the NBA. Studio analyst? Nah. And it was very evident that you had no clue how to connect with the younger generation when you got Melo. And he couldn't even respect you. So it is what it is. Let it go. Why are you tweeting, dude? Why are you caught up in what's going out content-wise anyway? Hey, dude, stay off Twitter. No one wants to hear from you at this point. Man, ladies and gentlemen, CJ Stroud.
It's tough to look back and be like, man, like we should have won it all. Like, yeah, no duh. But like sometimes it just doesn't shake like that, you know? So, well, where did you go?
I went to Florida.
Come on, man. What is we talking about?
I mean, but I won that. But CJ,
I'm thinking he went to Bama or something.
CJ,
what are we talking about?
But you say you talking about the window
too.
Come on, what are we talking about? Y'all,
we won national championships.
We did too. What do you want to talk about?
I'm talking about.
Yeah, let's talk about the recency.
In the last 8 years.
What have y'all done? Nothing. So
it's hard to fight.
LSU is maybe one of the only teams. They only did one good year.
Look, I'm gonna lay down when I have to.
Yeah, come on. I'm thinking you went to Bama or something. Like, what are we talking about?
Fred Taylor, you ain't got to lay down. Stand up. I'm going to stand up for you, Fred Taylor. First of all, Fred Taylor won a national championship. That's number one. That's number one thing. Pull the big joker out, put it on your forehead, Fred Taylor, and tell that young man, do you have one of these rings? How about that? Forget what Ezekiel Elliott did. Forget what Urban Meyer did. Forget what Cardale Jones did. Forget what the Bosas did. Do you have one of these? I have one. I don't care how far back it is. I have a national championship. Do you have one? While you sitting up here talking about Ohio State, while you sitting up here talking about recency, what has that recency got? You haven't won one in a decade. And you have more talent than anybody. In the last 10 years, what do you have to show? For all that talent and the recency you're talking about, what do you have to show? CJ Stroud, you're coming off 2 consecutive losses to Michigan, my bro. What are you talking about? As you said to Fred Taylor, come on, what are you talking about? You're disrespecting and then have the nerve in the middle of what you're saying to say no disrespect. What do you mean? You absolutely meant to disrespect Fred Taylor. You absolutely tried to play the fact that he was a Florida Gator and connect the era that he came to the struggles of Florida right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fred Taylor Florida Gators will absolutely smack the heck out of CJ Stroud's Ohio State Buckeyes. 10 out of 10 times. It wouldn't even be close. It wouldn't even be close. They would eat them alive. I'll stand up for you, Fred Taylor. I'll stand up. Because that dude was huffing, puffing, and can't blow a darn thing down. Because he didn't do nothing at Ohio State. Nothing. 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 And they had the nerve to say no disrespect. You meant all the disrespect and smoke. You've been doing it all week. That's the vibe. You disrespected Jaime Jaquez. Jaime Jaquez would light you up if you played 101 right now. Light you up. That's nice. You had a nice 40-point game. against his team. Not on him, against his team. That's nice. But if you played Jaime one-on-one, he would light your tail up. But see, that's what Super Bowl Media Week does to cats, man. It gets them hype. They start talking. And then they have to get the ticket punched to the petty train. Simple as that, man. That's what I do. Always honor the past, man. Always honor the past. Always pay respect and honor the past. For the Culture Friday. No petty. Just something for you guys to watch. The Alexander the Great documentary on Netflix. It's 6 episodes. It's worth it. It's worth it. If you get an opportunity, it's worth it. I'm not about to oversell it because it wasn't like it was like, oh my God, you have to watch this. Nah, it's worth it. But Bosco, B-O-S-C-O, Bosco on Netflix is lit. If you get time, tap into Bosco. Definitely tap into Bosco. All right. For Left, I'm Sean Davis. We will see you guys tomorrow. We're tapping in for a show tomorrow, and then I'll be doing RTCF. Now I'm going over with Ryan Roberts. We got some great recruiting news to talk to you guys about over on Irish Breakdown. For Left, I'm Sean Davis. Have a great Friday weekend. Continue to spend it different.